Welcome to the Successful Life Podcast. I'm your host, Corey Berrier, and I'm here with my man, Andy Hobaica. What's up, brother?
What up, dog? How are you?
Good, man. I'm super glad that we got to connect, and I'm super excited about this conversation. I always love talking to another sales guy, and a guy of your caliber, from what I understand, is you could teach us a few things, I think.
I don't know about that. I love spreading knowledge. I love helping people, no matter what, whether it's to do with work, personal life, family, my nonprofit stuff. We can talk about that later, but I just love helping people. So if I can do something to where I've been on a podcast recently and someone hits me up on social media, hey, don't mean to bug you, but hey, I saw you on the pod. When you said this, man, that changed my life. That changes my life, Corey. So as much new podcasts and new people I can get in front of so I can help more, that's why I'm alive.
Dude, there's nothing better than getting a call like that or getting a message like that of somebody who was just struggling that happened to run across something that was unintentional. And I don't believe anything is by accident. I think everything's by design. But Andy, before we dive into this, because we may get carried away, tell everybody, if they don't know who you are, just a little bit about you and the background and all that good stuff.
So I've said the background a lot. So a quick one would be my grandfather, his family, Lebanese immigrants, came over to the United States. He went to grade school and high school here in Phoenix at St. Mary's, and then he got drafted in World War II, just like anybody 17-year-old or older at that time. So he got drafted into the war, had to go, but at the same time, Lebanese immigrants, he was going to get a citizenship serving for the country. So he went to war, and you remember Saving Private Ryan scene on the beach when the movie started? That was Battle of the Bulge. My grandfather was on it. In a matter of a couple minutes, he lost all of his friends. I remember him telling us stories when we were kids about, hey, you think all these movies are cool and war, it's cool with guns and killing. He goes, it might look cool, but in a matter of 30 seconds, I lost all my friends in my unit. And I'm going to take you to this movie, show you that's no joke. So I remember I was probably like 15 at the time. And I had older brother, younger brother, some cousins. He brought us all to the movie to show us Saving Private Ryan. And he had to leave like middle of the movie to go to the bathroom and not come back. It was just too emotional for him. But we sat there at first thinking it was cool. And at the time, very gory movie. And I'm like, oh my God. And then after the movie, he took us all to IHOP, sat us down and showed us and said, hey, this is real. This is what really happened. But that wasn't anything close to as bad as it really was. And I lost all my friends in a matter of a couple minutes, and very sad. With that, how grateful a veteran actually is and fighting for this country. And then just knowing that from such a young age of what we're actually living for and the purpose and how lucky we really are to live in America. And that's why I wear my American flag pins and just love my country. When people take advantage of that, oh, I'm oppressed, or oh, my life's so hard, you don't even know what you're talking about. But a little education, right? Grandfather actually got out of the war, went to Phoenix College, and wanted to go to electrical school. Well, the electrical school was full, so he went to refrigeration school, learned a little bit of electrical, and then realized he's like, oh, I can do this. So worked for a couple random companies, and then 1952 started Hobaica out of his garage in Phoenix. So 72 years ago. My dad and all of his brothers and sisters worked there overtime. So like he had a family of 8 kids, so like everyone would work there and build a workforce. And my dad and his 2 brothers bought the business in the 80s. I'm 37 currently, so obviously wasn't alive when he bought the company, but I've been working for my dad since I was about 11 years old. So I've been your standard kid that worked for his dad that got fired 5 times and never got along with his father, now best friends with his dad as an adult. The whole backstory of I worked in the sheet metal shop building elbows and ductwork and insulation and all the grunt work, all the way up to carrying all the technicians' tools up and down ladders, all the way going to RSI my senior year of high school after football practice. When I turned 18, my dad's like, military, college, come to work. What do you want to do? So I just kept working. So I was a full-time technician from age 18 to 26, 27. And then right around 29, 30 years old is when I moved into commercial sales and then residential sales, and the rest is history. But people say, like, I have a coaching business on the side, and they're like, who's this kid? He's coaching people. He's freaking 20 years old. I'm a little bit older than that, but as well, when I walk into a classroom or I walk into a training, and someone sees me and I'm undercover wearing a black t-shirt and they don't know who I am, they're like, oh, who's this kid? And then when they realize actually, oh, wow, this guy has 25, 30 years of field experience and he actually has worked on it, installed it, sold it, managed it, everything, because I started so young, they're like, oh, he actually may know what he's talking about a little bit.
Thank you for that perspective.
Of course. I can keep going, man. I'm a machine.
No, I know. I believe it. So I just want to pause though for a second, and I want a lot of people probably look at your life now. You're on social. People see the highlights. I don't know if you show the lowlights necessarily, or if there are a lot of lowlights. But the point is,
I'm an open book. I've talked about it. I've posted stuff, and I try to share with everyone every day. Not every day I wake up, I'm in a great mood. Today I was, because I get to hang out with Corey, my man. But certain days you wake up and I might as well go back to bed unless I'm willing to go 100%. Drop all the bullshit and move on, because your employees, yourself, your customers, everyone in line deserves 100% Corey. So whether or not you're in the mood, you better get the fuck in the mood and make it happen.
Suit up and show up. But I think when people see your life now, they may think his dad had the company, his grandpa had, but I appreciate the perspective of what your grandfather went through to start the company, for your dad to step in, and then for you to step in, because that's not a fucking easy road, bro. Like that's an ultimate nightmare. We can't even really fathom what he went through to get that citizenship, to be able to start this company. And
the American dream, brother.
It gives me cold chills, to be honest with you. That's a really powerful story. What is it about helping other people that really soothes your soul? What is it that really drives you to keep doing that?
That's a path I've been looking for every day, buddy. It's definitely one of my love languages.
Yeah.
Are you married, Corey?
Complicated, but I'm in an amazing relationship.
Great. So it really doesn't matter if you're married or not, but you're in a relationship with another individual, correct?
Yes.
Have you read the 5 love languages together?
100%.
There you go. So one of my top love languages is giving, right? I give. I hate receiving. And my friends know that. Like, I'll have friends that show up to the gym and they're like, hey, Andy, I bought you something. No, you fucking did not. Take it away. I don't want it. I hate gifts. I hate it. I don't know why, but it's a dopamine and serotonin rush in full effect when I give, right?
Sure.
It makes me feel like a better person. It makes me move. It makes me drive. Whenever I'm in a bad mood, I'll literally go give back and go do something, and it'll change my whole day around. I love the gratification, like you do, when you hear someone that you actually helped them and it helped, or something that you said or something that you did, but it's just that little thing. And that's why I tell people why it's so much better to be successful than unsuccessful, or rich than poor. Because when you're successful and rich, or to an extent of rich, whatever you call rich, you can help more people. People are like, oh, money doesn't buy happiness. I disagree, because the more money I make, more time I can take off and help more people.
But that's a different context of happiness than what
Correct.
A lot of people think.
Correct.
A lot of people
cars and vacations and stacking cash, all this crap. Hey, I have some nice toys. I'm not saying I'm not. Like, I like nice things as well. But, man, I could drop it all, just help more people, and I love it.
That's one of the things. So I'm in recovery, and that's one of the things that I get to do every week, is to help somebody else that's coming through this process, or several people.
Amazing.
And there's nothing better than that feeling. You can't buy that feeling. If you could, I would have bought it, but you can't.
Recovery from what, Corey?
Alcohol, drugs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's funny, not funny, but I was fortunate enough. I was given a gift from higher power, God, whatever you believe in. I was given a gift. I don't have an addictive personality.
Amazing.
I'm very open. People have asked me, like in the past, Andy, you seem like a straight shooter. You probably have never done any drugs. I'm like, I've actually tried everything. What do you mean? You've done cocaine? I'm like, yeah, when I was younger, I experimented. I just got the benefit where I'm not addicted to anything. I can literally do drugs with you right now. I don't want to, because I know what the after effect and all the negative bullshit that's going to come from it. But I can do it right now and never do it again. I can turn it off. So I got the benefit of being able to do whatever the fuck I want and control myself. And it's a huge superpower, because most people do not have that.
Yeah, in some way, some shape, form, or fashion, or whether it's food, or whether it's exercise, or whether it's money, or
I
whether it's
think the only thing I'm addicted to, Corey, is caffeine.
caffeine for sure.
But I could do without. I just start getting headaches or whatever I do. So technically addicted to something, yeah, caffeine and success.
Yeah, 100%. And I think
Yeah.
the context around the success part's important, because it is what you do with what you are given, or I say given by God, or whatever you want to call it. We are
Mm-hmm.
given this opportunity to help other people through
Mm-hmm.
the success that we've had. And if you squander that away, then I'm not sure what happens. But I don't think it's positive.
Yeah. So, hey, a little bit more on this before we move on about helping people as well as I do. Man, you're helping me right now. I'm helping you right now.
Yeah.
If you feed that into your personal life, man, it'll always, come back to you in a good way. Whether it's starting your own nonprofit, whether it's helping random people, whether it's driving to a freaking call and you see someone pushing their car in the middle of the street, pulling over and helping that person. You don't understand what that will do to your life, the relationship that it creates, and then the happiness that you'll get from actually helping that person. Now, if that doesn't drive you, that's fine, but it's what drives me, and it's the reason I'm successful today.
Yeah. I 100% believe that. So let's talk about, you did mention nonprofit. So I got to ask you, what is
Yeah,
that? Who does it help, and how do you, tell me about
yeah. So it's the homeless community in Phoenix, right? So I own a 501c3 QCO. So that was the big announcement I announced on Facebook and Instagram about a month or two ago, that it took 9 years, but we finally became a QCO. So people can donate to my nonprofit instead of giving money to the federal government for your taxes. So if you give money, then you're able to get it back in your refund. So it's a qualifying charitable organization now through the IRS. But basically, once a month, we go downtown and feed and help out the homeless. A long story short, it's usually on a Sunday. So actually, this coming event this month is this Sunday. So at 10 a.m., we'll be at 12th Avenue in Jefferson. And basically, we'll have a line of 15 tables with tents. The first table is like Gatorade, water, any kind of liquid or cold or anything to drink. And then it goes to non-perishable food items, like five to seven items. Then we got individual shampoo, conditioner, baby wipes, like everything that you wish you would have on a daily basis if you were homeless. So people, Andy, what should I bring? How can I help? If you woke up tomorrow with nothing in an alley and you looked up and you had nothing, what would you like to reach into your backpack and have that day? Because the life you have and the shit you have right now, you don't have anymore. So what would you like to have? Some bare essentials. So that kind of stuff. And we call it creating smiles on a Sunday. Usually lasts about an hour. We'll usually go through 500 to 1,000 people like that. And man, again, it makes my entire month better. And I'll have people either support it or talk shit online or be like, you're just doing it for fame and like, all this crazy crap. I just respond with positivity and say, hey, before you judge whether you like it or not, I just invite you to come to an event, and then we can talk about how negative it is and all this bullshit. I guarantee you'll get something good out of it, or you'll bite your tongue and leave, because there's nothing negative about it. These people really appreciate it, and they're just so happy that we come every month. And I've seen people turn their lives around just from the smile that we put on their face.
So by doing this with the right intention, which I 100% believe that was the case, what has, outside of reciprocity, is huge, right? When you do something nice for somebody, they typically do something nice back. I have a buddy that he cooks, I don't know, I could get the number wrong. He broke the Guinness Book of World Records with frying turkeys, and he does it every year
Beautiful.
at Thanksgiving. And what's come of that, and wasn't the intention, is now the city blocks off this massive amount of area for him, and he gets coverage. And he didn't do it for that reason, but because he's doing it out of the goodness of his heart, he gets a ton of coverage out of it.
Agreed. No, I've been on the news. I've been multiple times. I've been in newspapers. I've been in magazines. People do articles on you. I didn't do it for that, but hey, it's going to help no matter what. And then people say, Andy, how do you sell so much? Or how do you do this? And the connections. I'm like, start a nonprofit, see what happens. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't do it for that, but I'm not saying that volunteers that come out to my events don't buy air conditioners from me.
Yeah, of course.
They want to freaking do business with people they trust and hello.
Right.
I'm literally out there because I love it. I'm not doing it for anything else. But if stuff comes from that, it's a relationship. I'm going to say no.
Yeah. So it sounds like to me that you have a an innate way to build trust and likability in the house, or you wouldn't have the numbers that you have. So give us a
I
couple.
literally spend the first hour, Corey, first 45 minutes to an hour becoming your friend. Because if you can't become the person's friend, you ain't going to sell shit.
Right.
I'm the easiest sale there is. I'll tell people stories like I got 3 quotes or set up 3 quotes to get quotes on a pool fence. What the hell? Now I'm friends with the guy. But the first guy came over, he blew it out of the fucking park. He spent 30 minutes getting to know me and talking about how nice my house was and my truck and my car. It was all about me. And then when it came to the sale, I was ready to hand him my fucking money. And he was good at what he did because he said, hey, Andy, I know you have a couple more quotes. I want to just get this shit done. I'm like, you're right. I canceled the other appointments. And when he left, I'm like, motherfucker got me. But it's the same thing I do, right? If you can become the customer's friend, hello, they want to do business with you. They trust you now. It's, wow, this guy's genuine. He actually gives a shit. I know right now, if they install that fence and it goes to hell, he's going to make it right because I know this guy. He's not just another salesperson. If you can get to that level, they'll buy anything you have to offer.
I agree. So do you all do anything? I know there are some companies, Chad Peterman be a good example. He does.
Yep,
he's got a lot of stuff that he does virtually. Do you all dabble in that?
With trainers?
Just like with sales even.
Why I told you I have till 7:10. We're doing role play right after this, baby.
I love it.
In my training room, we have the door, we have the frame, we have everything. And I'm going to have half my technicians in there role playing scenarios with customers.
So do you sell via Zoom?
I have.
Yeah.
During COVID, I was the champion of Arizona, baby.
So tell me the difference in, I get building trust and likability when you're face to face with somebody.
Yes.
To me, that comes fairly natural. To you, it comes fairly natural. Did you find that there was a difference when you had to do it through a screen?
Yeah, this probably isn't going to be the best conversation for me because I'm going to disagree with it 100%. I don't like it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Totally.
I don't think it's possible, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm in a huge networking group, and we have like 80 members. We meet every Wednesday. When they went to Zoom, I stopped coming because I was getting nothing out of it.
Because the human connection.
I don't think you can connect with someone over video. Like this conversation, it's good. It's good. I like you. But I'll be honest, Corey, I don't fully trust you yet. I've never met you.
Fair enough.
To be able to read someone, I have to look at them in the eyes. I have to be in the room with them and actually understand what they're all about and to see if I can trust them. And I can do that in a matter of about 10 minutes. I'm really good at reading people, but not on a video chat.
It's hard.
It is really hard.
Yeah, I agree. It's hard. Yeah.
I even if you do, I don't think it's half as genuine as it would be if it was in person. And I've argued with people about this. They're like, well, you're wrong. I'm like, okay, I'm open to being corrected, but what you're saying right now isn't doing anything for me.
It also feels rushed because we're all over the country. So I have to sell via Zoom. Like I don't have much choice.
I get it.
But it is a bit harder to connect. I'll tell you. It's
going to take much longer.
It is, for sure.
I'll connect with you if you're so far. Your podcast has been great. You seem cool as fuck. In person, if you were this cool, we would connect in about 15 minutes. It'd be like that.
Yeah.
Much harder over video because I don't know what you're really about, man. You're just some guy on a podcast that a lot of people watch that Doug Wyatt likes and respects. And hey, you know what? Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that was just really a personal question because I do think it's a bit harder. So
I was forced on COVID to do it, right? Forced.
Yeah, of course.
But we had to switch it up and we did it. It was cool. I didn't like it.
No, 100%. So talk to me a bit about, I think that a lot of salespeople lack preparation. And I think that's something that you don't lack. If you did, you wouldn't be selling. I don't know if it's 5, if it's 6, if it's $7 million a year, but I know it's up there.
Yeah. 5 is going to be the minimum.
5 is going to be the minimum.
I'll do 7 this year. So you see these numbers, man. I've been seeing them recently. I just don't understand it. 16 million. I'm like,
yeah.
What are you doing? Is it commercial? Is it new construction? It's not possible. I'm sorry to say, anyone that watches this podcast and hears me talking right now, Andy Hobaica on Facebook, Andy Hobaica on Instagram, hit me up. I would love to talk to you because if you're not bullshitting, I'd love to learn your secrets about what you're doing because I work my ass off to get in that upper 7, 8, 9 to where some people that do a little bit better than that, I'll talk to them. So to uncover a little bit, I'm good friends with Brent Buckley.
Yeah.
I'm at like 6, 7, 8, and this motherfucker's at 9, 10, 11. I'm like, what the hell? you talk to them, and then you're like, hey, dude, what are you doing differently? Even when he was working for Ken at Yes, what are you doing so differently? What am I not doing? And he talked to me. He's like, I have a little bit of a cheat code. I'm like, what's the cheat code? He goes, we do same day, next day installs. I'm like, motherfucker, no wonder. I'm like, I'd be freaking 10 million too. Because at the time when I was doing 6, 7, and I was trying to get up to that 7, 8, 9 area, we were like 4 days out in the middle of the summer. And when it's the middle of summer, they'll go with someone else.
Especially,
we've overcome that since, but I'm just saying, people that are like, they claim they do 16 million. I don't know how that's possible, but I'd love to hear about it. I'm not knocking you. I would just love to hear about what you're doing differently that I'm not.
Yeah, because how many houses do you average on your top year? How many people do you get to see in a day to maximize that $8 or $9 million? You don't have enough time in the day to go to any more houses.
Yeah, in a summer day, if I go to 5, that's a lot of fucking homes.
It's a lot, bro.
Yeah. Average 3 hours per call. Come on, bro.
That's a lot. And it would be physically impossible to do more than that, I believe. So,
and all year round, you have no family, you have no kids, you have no life.
Right. And who wants that?
I don't. I love my free time, and with my kids, it's very important to me.
Yeah, 100%. So preparation, take me through how you start your day, because that's preparation, and then how you move into the workday.
Yeah. I'll tell people this, and some people don't believe me, but I tell people, hey, shadow me because we can do it. Do you know who Ryan Goss is?
Yeah.
So Ryan correct me if I'm wrong. What's sales transformation? Yes. Thank you. Sorry, Ryan, I forgot, buddy. But Ryan hit me up and he's like, hey, dude, I'm coming to Arizona for an event. I'd love you to come to the event, but I'd love to meet with you. I'm like, it's like a 4-day notice, man. I don't have any time. And he goes, oh, man, I really appreciate half an hour. I'm like, I'll try, man. I really will. I'll take you to lunch. I'm like, I don't eat lunch. I'm too busy right now. Like, I'm good. I eat a protein bar. Like, shit. And then he called me out and he goes, hey, I see you working out every morning. Let's do that. Okay, time to call you on your bullshit. Where are you staying? And he tells me, I'm like, all right, there's an EOS gym, and they're open 24 hours. Be there at 3:45. And he goes, deal. He was fucking there at 3:40.
I believe it.
So talking about someone that really wants it and wanted to create a relationship. And now we're good friends that I got to meet him in person, talk to him face to face, and he's a real motherfucker. I like him. So it's just good people. But so I start my day, right? Every day I wake up at 3:05 to 3:10, depending on the morning. I will allow myself to snooze for that 5 minutes. Because technically, I don't need to be up till 3:15, but I do the 3:05 because sometimes a little harder. But how you stop the snooze button is, have you ever read the book, The Miracle Morning?
Yes, I have. Okay,
so same thing, right? Just a little bit glitched, a little bit different for me. But I set my phone on my dresser next to my bathroom. So you're forced to get out of bed. I don't want to wake up my wife. So I get out of bed, turn off the alarm, 32-ounce glass of room temperature water next to the phone. I down the water. I force myself to go into my bathroom. There's a sign above my mirror that says, you're a bitch. I brush my teeth, wash my face, so I'm not a bitch. And then, hey, try to go back to bed. It ain't going to happen. Then I get dressed real quick, go to my office. I really wish I knew the author, man. I'll get it to you so you can post it, but I read motivational quotes. It's like a 30-second to a 2-minute read every day on a different page. I have 3 or 4 of the books. I bought them on Amazon, but I just hardcover, so it's actually sitting on my desk. But by the way, I hate reading. I'm an audiobook guy, but like to read the quotes, it's the first thing I look at even before I look at my phone, so I can get something positive in my head before all the bullshit emails, whatever I got to do. So I look at that, play fetch with my dogs a little bit, and then I do a pre-workout. So a little bit of caffeine, a carb powder if it's one of those days, but I get that going. And then by 3:30, 3:35, I'm out the door on the way to the gym because I meet a group of guys at the gym every day at 4 a.m., 7 days a week. No days off. Nice. People are like, oh, you got to take a day off. I'm like, oh, yeah. But like a day off is cardio for me, so it really don't matter. I'm at the gym 7 days a week. If I'm not 7 days, if it's 6 days, there better be a good reason. It's the reason if I went out with my wife the night before and I'm a little intoxicated, so I go in the afternoon or whatever. But Monday through Friday especially, or Monday through Saturday, every day at 4 a.m.
Makes sense.
So do that, get my thing, come home. We talked about this, but I sit down at my desk when I come home from the gym, or if I'm at work and I came to my office like today, I sit down, I write my goals out for the day, the quarter, the year, 10 years, 5 years, the whole thing. And then I write down what I'm grateful for. And then I do the random text messages or phone calls to 3 to 5 people.
Boom. Perfect. And so you think
pretty much that's my day before I actually start my actual day.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. And so how about, and so that's really your preparation. and your
That's
process.
preparation, just get my day started, right? To even where I can even be in the right mindset so I can give 100% to my team, my employees, my customers, everybody, and myself.
I'm sure you've had days where it didn't go quite like that. How did those days go?
You're talking about like where I couldn't go to the gym and stuff?
Yeah, so there's anomaly things that happen, and you get
Child doesn't sleep all night.
whatever. Yeah, the day doesn't go as well.
Yep. Day doesn't go as well. You better snap it the fuck out and show up because you got people depending on you.
100%. 100%.
So just have to you have to put that on the back burner because people don't deserve half Corey. They deserve 100%.
Agreed. Totally agree.
So you just have to make yourself do it. It's not the hardest thing. I've been through much worse.
Yeah, 100%. So you mentioned audiobooks. What is your? So I listen to multiple types. I mean, I'm like a junkie. I'll be honest with you.
Yep.
So what do you listen to? Is there something that you listen to maybe on a regular basis? There's a couple of books that I'll re-listen to over and over because I just need that reminder.
So my favorite book of all time, I've listened to it like 10 times, is Mark Manson, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Yep. I got it.
Anytime I get into a negative mind space, I'll start that like randomly in the middle and just listen to it because usually like a quarter in and the rest is much, much better than the beginning of that book if you've listened to it multiple times, but get a lot out of that and not letting the little things bother you. And that's how I live my life, but like definitely a really good read, listen. Yeah, I've done a lot of audiobooks. Someone that is a little aggressive to some people, but really good at sales and has a lot of haters, but has a lot of lovers too. Grant Cardone, right? Some of his audiobooks are fire, bro. I tell everyone, if you're getting into sales, listen to a minimum of 5 times in a row, Sell or Be Sold.
Yeah.
Because the whole mindset, like, remember the boiler room?
Oh, yeah.
On every single transaction, no matter if you're meeting someone for a lunch, you're selling someone a product, you're selling someone air conditioning, you're going over repair versus replace, whatever you're doing inside of a home, inside of a meeting, inside of a networking meeting, on a podcast, on a Zoom call, no matter what happens, a sale is made. Either you sell something to the customer or they sell you why they can't do it. If you live that mindset with everything, no matter what, your life will be much better. And that's with a friendship. Like, I'm going to meet someone. They may be a future client. They may donate to my nonprofit. They may do something that's going to improve their life and my life. Or they're going to sell me why they don't have enough time to do those kind of things, or why I don't have enough time to wake up early in the morning and go to the gym, or all these different things. You're selling the negative portion instead of the positive.
Yeah. Same thing with your kids. Same thing with your wife. Same exact thing. All right. So let me ask.
That's a funny one. I've heard that say, yeah, it's either you sell your child while they have to wake up early and go to school and why it's beneficial, or they sell you while they have to watch TV for 10 more minutes.
That's right.
Someone sells something.
Somebody's selling. That's right. So it looks like, and it sounds like from early age, that you've been successful quite a bit. But I'm sure there's been some time in this process or in the last 15 years that things in your mind maybe, or things just weren't looking very good. Let's take me back to maybe one of the darker times that you've gone through.
Yeah, before I met my wife, bro.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, before I met my wife, I, for 5 to 7 years straight, just dating the wrong women, right? Ruining my life, taking advantage of me. And I was the nice guy that got taken advantage of, to be honest. But finally found a woman, my wife, Pearl, that likes nice people and likes someone that treats her well and spoils her and just does the right things because she's a great wife, great mom. Love you, Pearl. But at the end of the day, before meeting Pearl, I think my dad uncovered it over time and said, the reason why you picked all these women that got you in trouble and just created all this negativity and everything bad happens to them is because you were picking people to help. You had to stop that and actually pick someone that you actually enjoy being around that helps you, and then you can help them too. But I was picking projects is what it was. And I didn't know that. But I love helping people. So I would see someone in need and be like, oh, I can help this person. And hey, they're pretty cute too, so why not?
Yeah.
And then it would always end up me running their life and my life to make them happy before myself, because I just was starving to help more people and then starving for that attention from someone to get it back, which I would never get it back. Even family members, right? To where I'm not talking crap, but I have a brother, I have a couple friends, people that are close to me, to where maybe if I give, maybe they'll give back a little bit, but maybe they're not that person. Maybe they don't get the high off of helping people. They feel like just living the normal life is normal, and it just is what it is. You can't expect people to act the same way you do, right? Back to the tough times, man, I've had moments just like anybody else, not drug or alcohol moments, but at the same time, depression moments, to where the reason I'm working for my dad still and struggling my ass off is because I don't want to let him down. I just want the approval from my dad and him to be proud of me, right? My whole life up to recently, to where get married, start doing really good at work, successful, breaking records, coaching, going to seminars, talking. My dad tells me that he's proud of me. It's the best thing in the world, right? You want to just make your parents proud. And it was really hard growing up. My dad's on a pedestal. Everywhere I go, oh my God, you're Louis Hobaica's son? Holy crap. Like, just my dad was so high up here. I just wanted to be able to meet him halfway to where he could be like, how, wow, I'm proud of you. So where I want to be a badass too. I want my dad to think I'm a badass, to where just working my ass off to try to get to that level. And it was difficult at times, especially when he moved me from technician to commercial sales. I didn't like it, man. I was cold calling businesses, walking in, trying to create relationships, get on a maintenance program just to look at their equipment. Like it was hard, man. And there was times to where I could have easily asked for help, but I was too proud and didn't want to be that person that needed daddy's money, to where I would be fine. So there was many times, about a year straight, to where I was eating ramen noodles and just trying to fake it that I was making it, and using credit cards so people on social media thought I was still good to go. And it is tough, to where I remember one day, man, I was maxed out on 2 credit cards, still going to the bar like every other night to make the girls that I was hanging out with think that I was like some like successful guy, had a decently nice car, hadn't made my payment in a couple months. And at the same time, I just wasn't doing well at work because I wasn't motivated. And I remember driving, and I always get a little emotional when I tell this story, but I remember driving and thinking to myself, what the fuck? If any time to give up, it would be now. Now, I'm not saying committing suicide, because I've never thought that, but just the thought of, maybe I'll just stop trying. Maybe this isn't worth it. Maybe this isn't me. Maybe I got to change jobs, quit work for my dad. He's going to be disappointed in me, but I got to do something else. I got to do something because I have no money coming in and all these bills are stacking up. I'm just going to give up on all this and go somewhere else and just delete my life. And maybe I won't even hang out with my dad anymore because he's disappointed in me. That whole thought. And then I remember getting an email and looking at it. And it was a job that I had sold like 8 months ago, finally got funded, and $8,000 was hitting my account. And I just remember driving down the street and just crying. I was getting emotional, but I just remember driving down the street. I'm like, oh, I guess that's a sign to keep fucking going. So like, it was able to like be able to pay off the minimum bills so I could keep going, to where they were going to shut off the power to my house and I couldn't pay my electric bill, to where people go through that on a daily basis. So I love helping those people in need, but as well, I'd love to be interjected with people that are almost there or there, so I can motivate them. Because, man, people, the human brain and human person is a powerful fucking thing. You just have to know that you can actually do it and keep pushing until you actually get there. So I'm not saying that's like such a horrible thing to happen. And much things that happen worse for people, but it was one of my tough moments to where, fuck my life. I'm just going to move on. I'm just going to forget about everything. My dad's going to disown me. I can't ask for help. I'm just not that person. And then the money hit my account and I was like, man, I'm given another chance. We can keep going.
But your dad never said you don't lie. I'm not proud. He never said that that he's not proud of you. He never said that you didn't match up to what he expected. That was just your own belief.
It was my own belief. And then I think the only thing on my dad, I love my dad to death. We're best friends now, but he says if he could change one thing, me growing up, he would have told me he loved me more, and he would have told me that he's proud of me more. He said it was hard for him because he felt like if he told me he was proud of me, that it would actually weaken me and make me work less, work not as hard. When, to be honest, man, I was just starving for that attention. I just wanted him to look at me in the eyes and be like, Andy, I'm proud of you. Like, just starving for that. So maybe if I work a little bit harder, maybe I can get closer to that. You're chasing that, but you're not willing to admit it because you want to be a hard ass.
Yeah. And fear sets in, and because you don't know if the answer is going to come back the way you want it to. And instead of putting yourself out there, it's just easier to keep it in sometimes.
Yeah.
But then when
But
you
hey,
get, but
yep,
then when you have the
yeah,
experience of having that conversation with him when the time is right,
yep.
and the willingness to receive that what you were looking for, it does change things. Let's go back for a moment. You said there you felt like you had to give up, and then the $8,000 came in. That was your belief. You had to get to that point, right? But if you had given up, which you could have given up, and who knows, we probably wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Definitely not.
But I think our mind, as you mentioned, is powerful, and whatever you believe is typically pretty true. Whatever that belief is, whether it's my dad doesn't think very highly of me, or my dad's not proud of me, or I should just give up, or I'm just going to keep pushing through to see what happens next. Because the way I see it is, I've done a lot of shitty things. Got in trouble. I've been for drugs, alcohol, you name it. But God, even in the darkest times, never dropped me on my ass. Like, I've never been homeless. And I'm
Yeah,
not
thank
saying
God.
that people can't get there, because they certainly can, but I think if you're willing to put the one foot in front of the next, if you're willing to take the action, and then for me, it is asking for help. I have to ask for help these days, because without it, I can't do it all on my own. It's why I'm way smarter asking you for help. If there's something you could help me with, then I am trying to figure it out on my own. But it took a long
I
time to
think
get
I was
there.
just too. I think I was just too proud.
Of course.
Especially the one person that I could actually get help from and not be judged would be my dad. But I didn't know that I couldn't be judged, because I was like, no, my dad's going to think I'm a fucking loser. Like, none of my other brothers ever asked for help. I'll be all right.
Yeah.
I literally I was okay with losing my house and car just to not ask for help. That's how stubborn and proud I was. It was just not the best moment of my life, but hey, it made me a much stronger person.
It wasn't that long ago, a couple of years ago, was in that same spot. And I wasn't totally sober. I hadn't had a drink in a long time, but I picked up smoking pot, and I just didn't. My pride, my ego was just so massive that asking for help was just out of the question until I just asked for help. And so, a guy, Gene Slade. Some people don't care for Gene. Gene's
I know, Gene.
he's a good dude, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Now, I don't know about him, his personal life or whatever. He seems to be fine. I don't know. A lot of people don't like him, but a lot of people do like him.
It's the same thing, bro, with me. So Gene and I have a lot in common. We're both extremely aggressive and high energy. It turns off a lot of people. I like Gene. He's cool.
Yeah. Gene, Gene helped me. He helped me, and it got me really. If it weren't for Gene, I don't know if I'd ever got out of it. You know what I mean? But I had to be willing to accept and be humble enough to ask somebody else for help that I didn't want to ask. I did not want to ask. I could figure it out on my own, is how I saw it. That wasn't fucking working.
Mm-hmm.
And but
Well,
anybody
more
else,
power to you for asking, right? You had more power than I had. You had more guts than I did. But at the end of the day, if you wouldn't have, would you be the person you are today? Probably not.
no.
So shout out to Gene, badass.
Yeah. When the pain gets great enough, we change.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, not until then. Pain's got to
Correct.
be pretty great. And so how do you
100%.
instill these things into your children? I'm sure you tell them that you're proud of them. I'm sure you tell them that you love them.
Oh
And
yeah.
do you encourage them to always ask for help?
They're not to that age yet.
Oh,
Too little.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
fair enough.
I haven't had that. I haven't had that opportunity yet. Right, a 4-year-old doesn't really understand to ask for help. Right?
Right.
So I have a 4 and a 2. They're little, but man, I think God blessed me with a daughter for that reason. Holy mother of God, am I an emotional wreck now? Before, I was always the most emotional one out of all my brothers. I'm more like my mom, when my brothers are more like my dad, more of like a hard ass that never shows like emotions. But me, I've always showed emotions. I've always been an emotional person to where I'll cry at a movie and people are like, oh, look at this pussy. I'm like, at the end of the day, it was sad. I can't control it. And as a dad, a girl dad, holy shit, game over. Man, I teared up last night. I remember her asking me, she says, Papa, Halloween? She wants me to go outside and show her the Halloween lights because instead of all the lights and the blow-ups out front, I go pretty hard on Halloween, all the decorations. And we went outside, get her pants on, her jacket. We go outside. She shows me where everything is. She explains all the animals and the ghosts and what they're doing and tells me like it's the first time we're ever doing it. We do it almost every night. And then I set up my lounge chair because my back starts hurting. I just want to see her explain more things. And then last night she comes up, walks over, pushes my hands aside, sits in my lap, and just wants me to cuddle with her. And then she says, "I love you, Papa." It's just, man, it gets to you because this little human being loves you and will do anything for you and will just listen to you. But having a girl is just that much more on steroids. Like crazy that this female little person is looking for me for everything. And as they say, especially having a girl dad, but boy dad as well, I have a 2-year-old son. If you're not your kids' heroes, they're going to find someone else to be their hero.
That's right.
So step it the fuck up and be a hero for your kids. And I take little lessons that my dad has taught me over the years to be a better dad. And he said, to be honest, man, I would have spent more time with my kids and worked a little bit less. And I would have told you guys every day that I love you and that I'm here for you. If you need anything, let's go. He was so focused on work, and he'll admit it. I was doubling the size of my dad's company. I didn't have much time to where he was gone every day at 5 and home at 7. So I didn't see my dad a ton growing up. We went on little trips, but most of the time it was me and my brothers fighting and getting in trouble. And I got attention from my dad when I would back talk my mom and he'd come home.
And guess what? Sometimes that attention is, regardless if it's good or bad. I was just talking to Maddie about this yesterday. Doesn't matter, right? You just want, as a child, you just want the attention, whether it's good or bad. Doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
100%. So when you mentioned that you're going to be role playing with, I don't know, I guess your coaching guys or your company guys after technicians. So
that's why I'm dressed like a tech today.
Makes sense. How important have you found role playing is?
The most important thing.
The most important.
Yeah, you can sit in a classroom and learn, right? It's kind of like how I do my mentoring. So I have 6 clients currently. I don't advertise it much because I don't have a ton of time, but people that want it bad enough and want the information I have, I'll have them wake up really early. And at the end of the day, it's really good to get East Coast clients because I have 5 people that I have right now during the week. And at 4 a.m. for me is 7 a.m. for them. So it's perfect, or whatever time it is for them, to where it makes it easier for me to where I get it done with my day and it doesn't actually interrupt my actual day.
Yeah.
I'll do it on a cardio day so I can come home from the gym real quick and do it. But basically, you can teach anyone anything, a process, how to greet a customer, is my truck parked in the right location, do the filter, the white rag trick that maybe you haven't heard of, the filter, the noise, and anything that you're going to overcome with a customer, you can learn that. But to actually do it and be badass at it, what do you got to do? You got to practice. And there's nothing better than practicing in front of 10 other people that are about to do the same damn thing, because you know that you're going to mess up and not do as good as you are in person. But if you can master role playing as practicing, you'll be a gangster in person.
100%. But
and it helps out me, man. Keeps me on my toes too, just to watch my guys do it and then help out.
Yeah, 100%. So do you let them go all the way through the role play and then you critique? How does that work?
We'll do different sections, right? So one day we'll do the introduction at the door. One day we'll do the filter and white rag. One day we'll do the how to do a heat load with a customer, walk them around the house, what to do in the attic. Like, we'll do sections, and then we'll come together after a couple months and we'll have one technician go through the whole process. And then I'll have other technicians and people that are in the room like myself, and we'll critique, and they have to be open for improvement. Be like, hey, you did really good, but you said this. I would take that out of your vocabulary. You're like, fuck, okay, let me write that down. Let me practice on that.
Yeah, because words
there's a really big team culture at Hobaica. Everybody's friends. So you're just taking advice from your friends. You're not being critiqued by someone that doesn't like you.
Yeah. So from your standpoint, I think I'm probably going to know the answer to this. How hard is it to find new employees?
It used to be really hard. Now it's easy with our hiring events.
Yeah.
I just want people to show up that are 18 to 25 with not a ton of baggage, working for other companies. I'm not saying I won't hire those people, but I like people without baggage that know nothing about my trade. They're just a good person, right? Because you can't teach that. You can't teach someone to be a good person and to like helping people and to do the right thing. I can teach anybody technical and anything about the trade.
But I think it goes deeper than that. I think you don't have a problem hiring people because you have a place that they want to come and work.
Correct.
So tell me about that. What do you do outside of role playing, which I don't know that people would look at that as a cultural benefit coming in, but what do you do inside of the company to attract people to want to come work there?
I think even before we get to that is just showing them that, hey, I'm going to send you to school, pay you to sit in class because I value you and I value what you're going to be able to provide for you and your family and the life we're going to create. And in turn, I'm going to make some money off of it. But I know they value the thought of that. I believe in them enough to send them to school and pay them. And then when they get out of school, they're debt free because, man, I think RSI is like 80 grand and it's 9 months long. So one, you're paying for college courses to become an HVAC technician. 2, you're going into debt. And 3, while you're going to school, where's your income?
Right. So from a company,
that's huge. But from a company standpoint, they come into the hiring event and we show the whole company history and what we're all about first, about the family, my grandfather starting it, my dad taking it over, all the history of what we're all about and what we do with our core values, our motto, all the fun stuff to where showing that we care about family and taking care of people. Everything else is second. And if you would like to be part of that culture and what we're all about and why we have such amazing reviews online and all this stuff, we'd love you to be part of our team. So it's more of, like I just got done talking at Service Nation, Service World Expo. Stop selling, start helping. So if you can stop selling and just help someone, they'll buy what you have to offer. And people know that's what we're all about. We're not going after someone's wallet. We're there to help them. And then people want to pay us for our services. That's how we learn our company. And they love that, especially if they've just interviewed with a big guy to where you're going to be a technician here and you're going to get paid 30% of the ticket. Whether you sell a service agreement or a new compressor or a new unit, you get 30%. Go get it. What the fuck? You're basically making me sell shit that I don't need to sell to people just to feed my family. But that's how the big guys have to work because they can't afford that payroll, paying all those people like that.
Right. Yeah. So do you hire and fire on core values?
We hire on core values. We don't fire anybody. They fire themselves.
Fair enough. Explain that for me.
You've heard, so Doug Wyatt, shout out, my boy, gave the reason why I'm on the podcast, one of your friends. Me and Doug are good buddies. We think the exact same on firing, right? We don't fire anyone. They fire themselves. Corey's coming to work for us, sit you down, and we come up my expectations, your expectations, the goals I think you can get, and the goals that you want to actually get. We write it all down. And then when we're done, I sign it and you sign it because you're committing that you're going to do these things so I can actually pay you money and give you things that help out your family, create this amazing life. But you're going to do these things because you've agreed to it. And then I've agreed that I'm watching you and then I'm going to hold you accountable, right? We're in agreement here. Wonderful. So maybe you ask for a raise, or maybe you tell me that you're going to leave and go somewhere else because they're paying you more, or maybe you're not performing and I need to sit down with you, or whatever we have to do. We'll sit down and we'll go over it and be like, hey, Corey, real quick, man, you told me you were going to do this and this. You're doing this, but it seems, and just correct me if I'm wrong, seems like the outcome's not happening because of this. Is this true? Do we need a little help with this? Because, man, I'd love to help you get you back on track, because the way this is looking, it doesn't really look like you want to work here. Again, I want you to work here. I love you, Corey. I think you're a badass. I think you have a lot of potential. But you told me you wanted to do this. This was your idea, and I agreed with you. So can we get back on track? And if any support, I'd love to help you there. If you have to have 4 or 5 of those meetings, I'm going to sit down with you the last time and be like, hey, Corey, this is like the 4th time we met. I love that you work here. You're a great employee, but we're not doing these 2 things. If we have to meet again and we have to go over this again, it sounds like you're going to be turning in your resignation because you're not committing to what you told me you were going to commit. I don't fire anyone. I don't want to let you go. You told me you were going to do these things. It was your idea. So if you're not willing to commit to the ideas that you came up with and that we both agreed upon, I don't think that you want to work here. So do we want to correct this, or do we want to have you go work somewhere else because you don't want to work here anymore? And it really gets into their mind like, shit, you're right. I did make that commitment. I better reconnect, or, you know what? Yeah, you're right. I'll just quit now.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. And I love that you set those expectations, both from your standpoint and from their standpoint, because there's collaboration there.
Correct.
Yeah, that's killer. So look, I know we're getting short on time.
It's all good, man.
Where could Where should people find you if they want to either join? I know you don't have a bunch of time to take on clients, but if they do want to
I
do
can
that,
literally have 10 people hit me up. I'll probably pick one, but at the end of the day, you might be that lucky person. I deep dive heavily into coaching and role play, and I call people on their bullshit. The first call that I have with someone is like a podcast. It's an hour long, and I go hard on them. And I'm like, if this turns you off, it's not going to work, because I'm a very aggressive, very intense person, but I guarantee results. I guarantee that it'll help you. And if you're willing to pay a little bit out of pocket, I guarantee you'll make that money back in 24 hours if you just freaking listen to me.
yeah,
I have a proven system to where it's what I do on a daily basis.
sure.
And I don't sell $7-8 million a year by fucking around and not doing the right thing.
That's for sure. So how would be the best way?
Instagram and Facebook, just hit me up. It's
Okay.
Andy Hobaica everywhere. ANDYHOBAICA. And shoot me a DM. I run all my own social media. That's one benefit, is a lot of these guys that do really well, they pay a team to do it. I don't think that's very genuine. If I don't respond to your comment for a couple of weeks, it's because I was busy, but I will respond.
Or a couple of years.
Not yeah. Some people are like that, Corey. I can't remember his name, but we'll move on. I don't like talking negatively.
All good, dude. Yeah. I did want to ask you, if somebody wants to support the nonprofit, I think it's a really powerful thing. Where could they find that?
One Bag at a Time on Facebook, One Bag at a Time AZ on Instagram, or onebagatatime.org. And there's actually a PayPal link on the website that you can donate to. And then if you donate to it, I would send you an email in return of how much you donated and what it was for, so you can actually write it off on your taxes. The benefit of being a QCO is if I get 30, 40, 50 people this year to donate, that'll run my nonprofit for the next 2 or 3 years, to where they're just giving me money and getting it back in their refund. They're not getting it not back. It's either you're getting in your refund or less that you owe. It's not taxable income. It's an actual deduction, just like a Catholic school or anything else that you donate to. So we just hit that value, and it's going to be a game changer.
That's amazing. Dude, thank you so much for coming on today.
Of course.
I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation.
And then I like leaving podcasts with something, motivational line or whatever we do. I said this one recently. It's my favorite one. Whoever's listening, whoever's watching, if you enjoy this podcast, shoot me a follow. I guarantee you'll enjoy my stuff. I post a lot of motivational stuff. And again, I'm just trying to help people. I'm not asking you to sign up for my coaching. I'm saying if you're on a level to where you're able to, and you want to learn a little bit more and learn from someone that's done it all, I'd love to help. And my first call is for free, just to even see if we're a good fit. But I try to tell everyone, if I leave this podcast right now, I do my coaching calls with my guys, and I leave and go to my first call or go to meet someone for training, and I get hit by a drunk driver and I get killed. The last things I did was, before I got killed, was woke up this morning, said bye to my wife, gave her a kiss, drove into work, listened to a podcast, talked with my man Corey, created a new relationship, and did some role play. All those people that were part of that, what would they say at my funeral? If you don't like those answers, change it the fuck up, because today is a new day and you can move on. Always think that this might be my last day, might be my last hour, might be my last of everything, to where live your day to the fullest. Don't go crazy, but dude, it might be your last conversation with the person. Maybe don't end it on a bad note.
100%. Thank you for that, my friend. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, brother.
You're welcome.